So for me, like, there is no judgment from whatever. There's no hierarchy. There's nobody knows better than anybody else. We're all in this journey. We're all basking our way through it. And we're trying our best to like survive in 3D and actually thrive. Seeing that we in 2020 thrive, it's like, that's why we're here, to thrive, get over all the BS, belief systems and bullshit, and just have open conversations and questions.
Nothing that you think is wrong. It's your experience from life, and we can only talk from experience. We all might have different experiences, and sharing your experience, his experience, my experience, might enlighten you more. Because if you only know what you know, you don't know how to get more knowledge. This is getting more knowledge from people that's from different paths. So nothing is wrong. When you're asking something, when you're saying something, it's not wrong because that's your experience. So don't be scared to say something.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong journey.
Yeah.
Your journey is yours.
Uniquely yours. Belief system number one for me is we're not broken. Just to explain things a bit further, and the modalities I use and tools I use. So from the senses, the information, what information do we gather? And why I use the senses is, say, take for sight. So sight, you've got all of this information coming into your field and into your awareness. But it's not, you're not focusing on it. So you have focus, and you'll focus on one item, but then you'll move and focus on another item. And every time you let go, easily, naturally, no problem. Because we think letting go is this big thing, but we do it all the time. If we don't let go, we'll be very, very silly. Because I'll be talking to you like this, just staring, and then not really, how am I going to walk if I'm just not letting go and staring at one thing? And I'm just like, that's what I do all the day long. So, natural thing, we go into awareness, we become aware of everything around us. That gets taken up as a snapshot. If it doesn't change, the brain doesn't worry about it. So the brain saves energy like that. So it takes like it's actually called the trace cells. So it does like an outline trace of everything. If nothing moves, it's fine. Because why in the jungle or in the bush, if the trees and stuff is not the danger, it's the thing that moves. So we're hardwired from the brainstem instinct to notice movement. So if there's movement, that will draw out our attention. Now, if something draws our attention, there's a couple of things to do. First is notice. So from all the information that's here, I notice something, so you draw my attention. Boom. And from notice, I have to acknowledge. And that's a core thing for us as humans as well. So if somebody looks at you and they just give you a miss, that's like, it triggers the survival instinct. Because as part of a group, as part of as a helpless baby, you need people around you. Without other people around us, we die. If we don't get noticed and we're not acknowledged, we dead. So it's a very core thing. So that's why if somebody walks past you and they don't look at you or just look at you and they don't say hi or anything like that, it's like it's that instant fight or flight survival mechanism, fear, core fear of death that gets triggered. Okay, so notice, acknowledge, and then we've got three choices. What do we do when we had the awareness, we spotted something, it drew our attention, what do I do? Notice, acknowledge, and I have three choices. So either I engage with it, so whatever, you ask a question, I'm going to look at you, acknowledge you, then we're going to engage, we're going to talk, or we're going to change things, or if it's a belief system that comes up, you're going to have a reaction to it, and you're going to go, okay, here it is, now what? So you can either get sucked into that, go into the whole story of how bad you are and all your trust issues and everything will come. Dive into trust just now. But we can also have two other choices. The one, we can just let it be. So in this room, you're letting a lot of stuff be. The glasses on the table, this sofa standing here. If it's not worrying you, so why
Spend
any of your energy on it? Because where attention goes, energy flows. So as soon as your attention's drawn somewhere, your energy goes to that person or that thing or that event. So events can be good or bad, traumas or good things or whatever it is. All your energy gets focused on that event, thing, or person. If it doesn't worry you, just let it be. It's not negative, it doesn't affect you. It's like, so just let it be there. Or if it really hassles you, if it irritates the crap out of you, then do something with it. Chuck it out.
Use it for change.
Yeah. Let it go. So any belief system that doesn't suit you, and with belief systems, it's actually very, very easy. Because we think once we spot a belief system is where we have to start working on. But it's not. Once you spot a belief system that's not true, then how can you still believe in it? So once that belief system comes up for you, and you go, but this doesn't work for me, doesn't resonate with me, I don't agree with it. It's BS. Delete. Well, that's it. Delete. Let it go. Why believe in something that you don't believe?
Sometimes it could be forced upon you.
Yes.
Through society, yes.
Yes. Through society, the whole thing. Yeah. Money, work, relationships, blah, 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 all those kind of things. Clothes, wearing clothes, all that. Simple things that we do all the time. So we're 99% of the time zombie mode, slaving, just living our lives according to somebody else. And not their truth or their wisdom or anything, just the idea of somebody. So somebody thought, well, maybe we should all just wear clothes, and it's bad to see somebody naked. Well, yeah, we're all sitting with clothes. Maybe a good thing, because I don't want to burn this body into your mind. So it's a very good thing that we have something to hide behind. So, but that's just the belief system.
But if we all sat like this all the time and we were never programmed that we had to wear clothes,
Yes.
nobody would take notice of what your body really looks like.
No,
Because there's no judgment.
There's no judgment. So it's like, so also it's,
It's like a bushman.
Clothing is what is the start of the creating of our own ego.
Yes.
That's what you identify.
yeah, so
At the start of the money making schemes and
That leads into
yeah, that's like how we wear our belief systems as well, layer upon layer upon layer. And then we filtered through all those layers. And that's what we call our consciousness of our
your reality.
Our reality or our lives. So we look at emotions, same thing. Emotions is just energy flowing through us at different vibrations. We call it different names: anger, sadness, loneliness, whatever, happiness, joy. But it's all just one energy. Everything is one energy. And that one energy is like light at different vibrations. It has different colors. So all the color we see is just different vibrations of the one light.
Yeah.
So all the emotions, same thing. It's energy in motion, emotion. And it's just the spectrum of the colors that we experience. But just as we look at something, we don't become that thing. So if I'm looking at the phone, I don't become a phone. But when I'm feeling irritated or angry, I am. So I become my anger. Like, since when? What were you 10 minutes before? Were you now another person? Or now I am joyful? So, like, what happened to angry vibes? What happened to that dude? So you can't claim that that emotion. And that's why, for me, it's the same as any other sense. It's information that we get, and we can notice, acknowledge, engage, let be, let go. If you're happy, let it be. If you're irritated and there's no reason for it, let it go. It's like simple as that.
Worry.
Worry, engage with it. Like,
It's a fear-based emotion.
yeah.
All fear-based emotions.
Okay, so that's general idea. Open awareness, spot something, something draws your attention, notice, acknowledge, choose. Do I want to engage with it? Let it be, let it go. And then we just go in the flow. And 9 senses, that's the main tool. And so if we start diving into, I just want to give you some sort of tools just so that we can, when we do go into a belief system or something, you understand also where I come from, or for something for you to understand about how to deal with. Okay, so let's look at trust. So where does trust fit in? On the 9 senses.
On the 9 senses.
Yeah.
Emotion.
Right, that's the nice thing to understand.
Normal 5 plus
It's your subconscious.
emotion, thought, subconscious, superconscious. So trust, basically all of them. They're physical, because if somebody breaks your trust, you feel it in your body. There's a physical sensation. It's emotional. It's mental. There's thought systems behind it. And it's hugely subconscious, because there's a major belief system behind that one. So what is it that's trust? What's the belief system about trust that you hold? Yeah, what's yours? Get your time to talk.
I think you'll have to give a physical example, because everything can have a different belief system behind it. What trust were you inquiring about? Was it in a relationship trust? Was it in a business trust? Was it what kind of trust?
A relationship. Yeah.
What about trust in yourself?
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts. Yeah, it's just why does it start there?
What it is.
If you can't trust yourself, how can you trust
Other
other
people. Okay, you want,
Mm-hmm.
but the problem is, if you trust yourself, you still don't trust other people. Then what? In ways that trust, and ways that you coming. That's where intuition comes.
unresolved issues from the past?
If you
Yeah,
listen
it's
to your
unresolved.
intuition, the trust won't be broken.
No, but this is unresolved issues with people. People have hurt you and done the in the past.
So,
You have to take a look at
But-
back in the past and then
so
sort out
then
those.
maybe good for a month because of that.
All that's happened is they didn't break your trust. Your trust cannot be
Is it?
broken. They just showed you what you don't prefer in life. That's all that happened. If you
What you
preferred
don't
what
want.
happened to you, it wouldn't be a problem. But trust is just people showed you what you don't prefer. It's as simple as that. So you should be thankful that they taught you that lesson about yourself, because they've just enlightened you about yourself. That's how I see it. If someone broke my trust can only be broken if you do not agree with something that someone did. Okay, so they basically just showed you what you do not prefer in life. So they just made clear that you don't prefer this actions or you don't prefer this behavior. You'd rather not have this behavior. So that actually enlightened you more about yourself. This is a learning process. This is a learning school. We're not here, we're here to learn. So when something like this happens, you've got to learn about yourself. That's what it's about. It's not about them. They just show you something that you don't prefer. That's all. They may be preferring it, but you don't prefer it. So it taught you something about yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. So
If a woman's in like her husband and wife, they're like, and the husband's with the other woman and he goes partying and leaves the wife at home, and the wife catches him. Now, in general, the guys is branded that way in the woman's eyes.
All
In
men
general,
or
they
just-
get divorced. I'm talking in general. They get divorced, and now this lady's now alone, and she's skeptical of meeting other people, other guys, for a partner. But because they all see the part, she sees that guy is going to do exactly what her husband, but she doesn't trust men in general. If I can put it that way.
Mhm.
She buys into it.
Yes,
And she can't get
but
out of it.
it goes both ways, male and female.
yeah, absolutely.
So trusting people in general is a major problem.
Okay. You were going to say?
No, I just feel like that's a bad thing. It's basically just generalizing.
I agree with you, generalizing everybody, but
That's a belief system.
It's the main thing with like why we have sexism, racism.
yes,
Yeah. It's just really bad.
now to get out of
Well, there's an easy way to get out of that. It's called sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. Now, back to trust. Now, there can be a lot of conceptual ideas and belief systems and emotions all going into that trust issue. Okay? So it triggers, so the body goes into fight or flight. The emotion gets triggered from the past. So because when there's an event that happens, relationship breakup, anything like that, that's an event. An event is neutral. We make it positive or negative.
It's got no meaning. You give
It's-
the event.
you give the event meaning.
You give it.
Whatever belief system you have about that event will give that event meaning, either positive or negative.
Most people will make that
That allocation of the emotion to a past experience. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
how you feel about it be coming from a past experience is how you're going to experience that event as well, because you've got experience of it before. So you'll have the same feeling about
you
it.
can change
Am I
that.
right?
yeah, so if you look at that, so when an event happens in your life, and this is from birth, because then we're right open. The first 7 years, you are in a hypnotic state. Your brain waves in delta and theta. That's where you actually live. So what that means is, like in hypnosis, we take somebody into the theta, either alpha or light hypnosis, theta, deeper emotions in dream states, or very deep into delta, which then the body can't move and all that kind of stuff. So, and why that happens is then you're very susceptible to programming. So anybody that says anything goes straight into the subconscious. So now you're working directly with the subconscious. So the whole thing of the old saying, give me your children before the age of 7 and they'll be mine forever. That is because up to 7, you're in the subconscious. You're getting programmed by everything. Absolutely everything. You look at a newborn baby, they plugged into, they super conscious. Those are still in soul level. They just pop in once in a while. You'll check them go, and then they go, oh, hello, or cry, or that's it, and then they, you can see it in their eyes. Those are like not on this plate, bro. They like happy, everywhere until they like have to be cleaned or fed. Then it's like then they back here. Then 2, 3, they they're just sponges. So everything that you do, if there's more less in the house, they're going to pick it up. The TV that you watch, the cars that go, the conversations that happen,
The food that you eat.
the food that everything
The
has got an
atmosphere
influence.
Yeah.
in the room.
That's your prime programming. So we're all programmed by that. What's happening around us in all the senses, what people's emotions, because there's like at that level we're wide open to any emotion. That's like a flood of emotions because we don't have any barriers or protection against that.
Yeah.
So if your mum looks at your skiff, or like shouts at you, that's the end of the world for you. That's a traumatic experience.
That's part of the trauma you've got to go back to fix.
Yeah, so that's like there's a lot of stuff connection with mom, big time, because that is like for the baby at that level is completely dependent of that other person, and it can be biological mom or any other mom or any female or even a dad that takes that role of caregiver and the protector. Yeah. So
Mommy broke your trust when you were really little.
and
You can affect it today.
just trust me, you were all stuffed up by your moms.
Yeah,
Just make peace with it.
absolutely.
Yeah, just take it for granted. Just take that to the bank and cash it. Okay, so for all the mums in here, you did stuff up your kids.
Absolutely.
For all the dads in here, you screwed your kids completely.
Yeah, why not?
No,
Because it's impossible. It's,
what you
it's-
through.
it's
But you get the opportunity.
yeah.
As you learn, as you go through your own path, you come up to things and say, no, this is not how I want to treat myself anymore. And you change.
Because we'll come back to that programming and that, because that's where trust gets broken. That's why I say you stuff up your kids. All of us, we all stuffed up. Okay? Because if you lying there hopeless and you're hungry and somebody doesn't come immediately and feeds you, it breaks your trust. Because you trust, if I'm hungry, somebody's going to feed. If I'm dirty, somebody's going to clean. If I'm hot, somebody's going to cool me down. If I'm cold, somebody's going to warm me up. Because you're completely dependent on all those things. And in the event of mom not getting there in like 0.5 seconds, which that's why I say you all just screwed your kid, because it's impossible. Nobody can live at that level and be completely there for their child 24/7. And even if you do that, you're screwing them up more than anything else, because they need to experience trust issues.
And that's
Okay.
what I want to say. Your soul lesson. Every one of us come with a lesson to learn. Getting the life right. I think maybe trust was your lesson.
And she exposed to itself.
Yes. You get more of it than
But more
most
self-love. I think this issue has got to do with self-love.
Okay, so
people as well.
that's
That's the core belief system with you. I feel in my heart is that you believe other people must love you because you cannot love yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry. You will overcompensate because you know what it feels like not to have.
Oh, yeah.
And I know because I was also there. Yeah. So I know exactly. That's why I recognize it.
all right. But here's the thing. Okay, and this is a no bullshit thing. You can't bullshit your way out of this. Okay. Are you here?
It was saying,
Are you here?
body and spiritually both. Yeah.
Well, body, spirit, emotional, all
You
three of them.
exist.
Heart, gut, motion, do you exist? You're sitting there, you can listen to me, you can perceive, so you exist. Okay? So, what does that mean? You survived all the cuck.
I think he might still be
I saw and whatever. When nobody comes out the ring like smelling of roses. You've got a couple of you're bleeding. So if you're going to go in the ring, then you're going to have to take a couple of shots.
I can be honest with you. I was a couple of times. I actually wasn't supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
You exist.
But you're here.
I'm still here.
You're still here, so it means you survived.
Yeah, I actually I don't care.
Yeah.
If I can play said that I'm done with the world. The world must now show me what they want from me.
It's a good place to be.
Good place to be. It's very good
It's
place
a
to be.
good place to be.
Whatever comes, whatever goes, it goes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic place to be.
Yeah. Okay. That's a very good place to be, but a very bad.
People, I try and help other people, but whatever happens, happens.
Okay. It's called claim nothing, enjoy.
Okay.
So claim nothing, because that is where the all the programs come, the trust issues, the hurt, all those things. That's the BS, the belief systems. Okay, but coming back to first principles, is that what is undeniable? You sitting there, so you survived. You survived betrayal, you survived all the other stuff, you survived. If you're a biker, then you survived a couple of more things that's a bit more physical. And so you survived physical stuff, emotional stuff, mental stuff. Okay? But there's a framing that's happening from a subconscious program and a belief system that's telling you how and what those things should or shouldn't have been. Okay. But that's a different thing. So now we'll get into that, but we can go through, and it's literally a lifetime of events and programs. But the core thing is that you're here. You exist. You made it. Okay, hey, dude, you made it. You're here, so it's cool. And so is everybody else here. Some of you chose like the most serious roller coaster. Some of you chose like a little chilled little cup ride. And some of you went like, no, give me like the most scariest ride, coolest, like I want to ride this thing hard, man. So, but we all got off the ride. We're still here. If we're here, we survived it. That means somewhere in us, there's a strength. We don't feel it all the time. We don't perceive it as such, because we confuse strength by the male freaking aggression. I'm strong. I'm like, yeah, dad, all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, like we said last week, there's the true strength. The bigger the power, the more subtle it is. Like the ocean, tide, it's very subtle, but fight it, and good luck with that. Or a little rip tide or whatever. It's very calm, you don't see it, but get caught in one of those, it's a different story. It's power. So it's in the subtleness of your power. It's not in your force of your power. We think it's in force and will, but it's in the grace. It's the power of grace. The power of grace is so subtle. You've got the universe's energy flowing right through you right now. That is a huge amount of energy. Okay, so your power is subtle. You are powerful beyond belief. You survived a lot of crap. And then it's not a belief system, then it's a knowing. Because, oh yeah, I exist. So I must have come through all the negative stuff. I survived all the crap. Trust me, we get hurt a lot, badly, from all sides. Business partners revving us. This planet is, this planet is not for sissies. That's why we chose it. This is a hardcore ride. It's like we go like, okay, we've watched all the nice movies and like walked in the fields and smelled the flowers, and we got bored with that.
Jumanji!
Yeah, Jumanji. Yeah, let's go there. Like that little planet down there, that looks like fun. It's like, yeah, but let's go. And trust me, you fought hard to be on this planet, because there's a couple of 100 million souls that's also that you were like, nah, I want to go on this ride. I'm like, I'm in here, bro. I'm going to do 3D. I'm doing the earth thing. Why? Because you wanted to prove to yourself that you are powerful.
Why don't more about yourself? And what you come to learn.
How do you know what you don't know?
Yeah.
So we don't know what we like or what we don't. So we're going to try something. But proof alle dinge behou die goeie.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you like an apple. How do you know? Take a bite.
Things that
So-
save me is always remembering that this is just an experience.
The dream.
It's just an experience. So don't get caught up in the experience. It's just experience it.
Your soul in a weak body having a.
Yeah.
Don't
Just
forget
feel it.
your soul. The soul is eternal.
The soul can't get touched. But our ego gets touched. Our identity gets touched a lot. And so, yeah, that's the experience. But how do we know if we like something or we don't? We have to try it.
Yeah.
So, try the apple. You don't like that one? Well, for us, it's like, well, do I really not like it? No, it's like, but do I really, really not like it? No, this thing is like Swedish. Like, no, I don't like that thing. But
Sure.
just, I'm not quite sure about that. Let's just give it one more go. Because it's like,
what's this with me? I hate this stuff, but I can't give it a go.
the first tree is a choice, then it becomes a habit. And that's a very different. And the habit becomes a belief system. And a belief system brings emotions and mental anguish and all of that kind of stuff.
The one belief system I think that's very strong with you is expectation. You feel that if you do certain things for other people, you're actually expecting that it should come back to you, and that's why you don't want to give of yourself. The biggest thing that you must have for
That's
yourself,
from where I'm still trying to figure it out.
even if you can't love yourself right now or find self-worth, just have grace.
Grace.
Give yourself space and be patient with yourself, because it's not easy. It's not.
Allow yourself to love yourself.
Session in progress.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Right. Where you sitting? Open eyes, closed eyes, just feel the weight of the body on the chair. Just feel the weight of the clothes on the skin. And feel the gentle play of air on the hands and face. Become aware of smell, taste, any visual information, and sound. Just notice that sound comes and goes, rising from the silence and returning back to us. Become aware of any emotions, Any thoughts? And any belief systems? Then just allow yourself to rest. Just rest. And being fully aware and awake. Just being present in the moment. Right here. So after a good break, we take a little bit of a pause, and that's the pause. So we can do that any time of the day. We can do it with 1 sense, 10 senses, 9 senses, however many senses you want. But during the day, if you feel overwhelmed or whatever, or you find your mind struggling, just feel. What's the big toe feeling right now? And that's it. A couple of deep breaths. Let the mind do what it wants to do. Let those little loops run. There's the story we tell ourselves and the constant narrator. I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, I'm looking at people, I'm sitting like, this is a nice conversation, or that little narrator that constantly runs 24/7, never stops, except when we go to sleep. As soon as we wake up, it's like, okay, I'm awake. All right, let's worry. What are we worrying about today? Oh, well, here's the long list that you're going to worry about. We get looped into those loops over and over, same loops. I'm broken, I'm hurt, I'm lonely, I'm driven, like, this has happened in my life. That's the past. In this moment, I'm sitting here, I'm breathing, I'm talking to you. I've had a lot of hurts, but I need to constantly remind myself? Because you see, pain is inevitable. We're on this planet, there will be pain. Because as a living entity, from the smallest bacteria, single cell organism, we move towards pleasure and we move away from pain. That's every cell in our body is doing that. The millions of microbes in your gut, on your skin, everywhere else, all you hitchhikers, they all do it. So we will experience pain. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. So we suffer when we keep regurgitating the past, or we project into the future from your past. Because we can only project into the future from your past. We know what we know, we don't know what we don't know, so we worry about stuff that's going to happen.
And that creates loops.
That creates the loops. And that's the belief system and the filters. So it creates filters through our being. Our being is unconditional love, pure golden light, source, God, whatever you want to call it. We are that. The Father and I are one. JC said that. Okay. I call him JC because it's out of respect. Because it's the full name is very powerful, and I don't want to use his name in vain. But also, we're 2 or 3. Yes, because that is. But where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there will also be, and it's unconditional. from unconditional and the way they like. All of these things are more you too, Shorty. So from a biblical and Christian perspective, the mystical truths are all there. JC was very, very, very wise master.
He was ascended.
Yeah.
From the school.
From the school. He came here and he did it to show us the way.
Yes.
Because we can do the same thing. So that's the core first principle. But we don't really experience that. So what we're trying to say, and what was also another belief system, again, while we're on Christianity, that's like, JC wasn't a Christian, number one. He was Christ consciousness.
Yes.
Christ consciousness is in all of us. It is the force that holds us as life, that's unconditional love. Gott is liefde. God is love.
It's a frequency that your consciousness reaches.
That is
That's Christ consciousness.
Yeah, Christ consciousness is
No.
a knowing, but it's a little step down from God consciousness, because that's super high frequency, and our bodies are not made to handle that kind of energy. It's like going to ESCOM and trying to grab the overhead power lines. It's not going to work out well for you. But a battery we can handle. Okay, so Christ consciousness is like battery power compared to a couple of million watts or 1,000 watts AC power. That is who we are. We are one, we're not separate. We will never be separated from source. All that is all that is. There's nothing that can be outside the all that is. And if you want to go further into that part of knowing, omnipresent everywhere, all knowing, every thought, every action, everything that you've done is known. I'll know every hair on your head. It's all known. We try and hide. We try and pretend that we don't see things, or we try and we have the different selves. There's a public self that we are when we're with people. There's the private self, which in a relationship you get to know. And we open up on the private self. And that's where the trust issues come on and where the hurt comes in. Because your hurt comes from opening yourself up and trusting somebody with feelings, deep feelings of your inner self. And when somebody betrays that or uses it against you, which is normally the case in relationships, when it goes well, you share everything. When it starts going pear-shaped, you use those as ammunition. What we are great as humans, to weaponize and monetize. So we'll weaponize and monetize everything. And especially secret or feelings, we know where the button is, because if you're in the ring and you're in a fight, where you're going to hit, where it hurts. Okay? That's why I don't like fighting. Because like when I'm going to hit you hard and I'm going to hit you where it hurts. When the darkie comes out, there's no weak battle. Then there's no like holding back. So, but that's what everybody else does as well. And we pretend that we're good people or we won't hurt people until we get pissed off and they hurt us and we kick and we hurt back. So, like the plan is also, we go into the ring with this big plan how the fight's going to go, and that all goes out the window when the first like punch lands. All the plans are like, that's it. Then we're just brawling and hit. Okay, so that is part of that. So then there's also a secret self. The secret self is the stuff you don't even want to admit to yourself. Secret self is the stuff that gets reflected back to us from our partners. So, I'm so good, I'll never cheat on anybody, and then your partner cheats on you. What is that reflecting? What are you hiding? What's in the subconscious that you want to go? And remember, cheating can be many things. Sex, sleeping with somebody, sexting, texting, winking, flirting, thinking. So if you're going to go into, once again, if you really want to follow JC's ruling, then go into Gospel of Thomas. And it's like everything. So they were so like, what is adultery? They went through the 10 Commandments, which is actually the 10 commitments. There's a big difference between the two. Where it's like, what is adultery? You may not, what's it in English? You may not commit adultery. So, yeah, thou shalt not. Which is another thing. Any shalt not is a fear-based thing, but we'll get back to that. But thou shalt not commit adultery. So what is adultery? If a hot chick walks past and I'm married and I'm checking in, yeah, ooh, that's nice. That's adultery.
But isn't that natural? Is
It
that
is
also
simple human rights.
It is.
Adultery is a rule or law brought in by the church.
Yes.
The acting part's wrong.
No, it's like, but not even the acting, the thinking, the coming up. But that is why it's impossible. So it's lofty ideals. The lofty ideal of never being adulterous is completely, because then you have to start defining. Okay, so is looking at somebody adult, is thinking about it? No, because I can't help thinking. That's a natural thing. Okay, so why is it a natural thing? Because it's instinct, it's in our genes, it's like, it's procreation. It's the half of the 4.5 have-tos. Remember, in life, you have 4.5 have-tos, the rest is a choice. You have to eat, you have to excrete, you have to sleep, you have to breathe. The half is procreate. To keep the species going, you have to have sex and procreate and spread your seed. Okay?
with one woman?
Well, that's,
Well,
well, you see, that's,
spread it all over.
no, but if you look at nature, it's definitely not. It's,
I think that is a thing that we understand.
okay, so let's look at monogamy. How does that fit in? Because that's not our nature, especially the male nature.
Yeah.
Male nature is spotted if it's keen, nail it. That is a survival instinct. How can I make sure my genes propagate? By sleeping with one woman only? Is that a good survival strategy? No. How can I make sure that I can spread my genes? I'm going to have to like nail everything that moves. So that is hardwired in the male, but it's also hardwired in the female.
Exactly.
And we think females are like, no, like one partner, that's it. And like, no, that is after the fact. And it's not always the same thing. The sperm donor is not necessarily the one that you want to have as your provider. That's why chicks dig the bad boys. Because why? Because they're strong, they're out there, they're forceful, they get out there, they hunt the stuff, they bring back the meat and all that kind of stuff. Because we have to take we are not that far removed from apes and our animal self. We're between ape and angel. But we're a lot more ape than angel. So all of those things are hardwired into us. Okay. Now, then you start going, okay, this works in a family unit and then in a tribal unit. So in a tribal unit, then what you want from the safety of your children, your project. First, they have to get the best genes in the pool, and those are like the bad boys and the ones that are out there and slaying the dragons and chopping and getting food and all that kind of stuff. But then there's also different types of men. So the males that's actually caring and provides, yes, they provide the meat and all that, but they have the stability. So to provide stability, that's why the sperm donor is not your provider and your partner that actually will raise the kids. But we're completely different from that because we're not in the tribal where the tribe looks after the offspring.
Yeah.
So now there's two people and maybe one that has to actually make sure that these little things are like actually survive. Okay, so with that comes social understandings and then the programs. So what's the social structure that we can have? So one man, one woman. That sorts a lot of crap out. Okay? That's just a normal thing. A basic social way to control the masses. So the core belief is a personal thing. So does that resonate for you or not? Not because society told you, not because the Bible said so, not because anything else. How does that resonate with you? But remember, it works both ways. If you want to play the field, the other person can also play the field. So, but then the toxic masculine got in there and like screwed that one up completely and turned it into you property. I can do whatever you want, but you property, and the woman will be like subservient and is still in the vows, marriage vows. So that is a big, big, big belief system as well. So the man has to be the provider and the woman has to be the subservient. So, and that causes a lot of hassle in males, especially in the young ones. So how are you dealing with the dudes? I don't know. Because like if you male, and especially if you male and white, that's just so bad. If you because you the root of all evil. You screwed the life, you caused everything. So how do we still have some sense as a male of some sort of trust or self-worth if everybody tells us that we're pieces of shit? And that's difficult to have. And the problem is we can't even argue with it because, yes, we are.
That's
or in society, if we have a look around to power tripping, the weaponizing and monetizing everything, and the dudes that did that was like the white males, mainly. All the other guys also had like quite a role to play in it. All the colors and all the races and all that core belief somehow imprinted in them as well. Okay, but once again, some balance between the masculine and the feminine. And remember, the masculine energy, the pure masculine energy is form. It's standing solid, is matter. The feminine is chaos, creation, destruction, movement. Like that's what it is, life. Because you have to have the dynamic and the static. Women are dynamic, the feminine energy I'm talking, not women, feminine energy is dynamic. That's why we have a universe. That's why we have creation. That's why we have existence. Yeah, but if she's unbalanced, it's a wild ride. So be careful what we wish for. If you really want to get into the whole feminine and really put that on the mark and it's out of balance, that's what we have today. So the whole woke culture, all of that kind of stuff, the banning and the like, because like, remember there's Shakti and Kali. And Kali is the destroyer. He's not one to play with. So there's that. So it's a balance, but so in the masculine. So the masculine is once again not in force and power, not forcing yourself upon anybody else, but standing in your power so that you can hold space. You can hold space in a relationship. And the holding space in a relationship is what happens is that you get chipped away as a man. Okay? Because and I can only speak from the male. I can perceive it from the female side, but I can speak as a man. So you fall in love and you do all of that stuff and it's great. Okay? So boy meets girl. But there's another level to that as well. Because it's called the Tom Mary. So Tom is there, walks into the room, spots Mary. Mary spots Tom. Hello. It's like, who's it, maybe? And it's like, it doesn't matter where you are in the room or where, it's like that connection is there. Okay, so magnetism. So chemistry. We call it chemistry, falling in love, whatever, love at first sight, blah, blah, blah. Energies. The two energies are talking to each other. But as they're talking, and that magnetic thing, you can watch people, they can spot, and you'll see them drifting, and it will be somehow they'll get together, someone connect for some reason, like borrowing the cup of sugar from the name, whatever it is, like going to the loo, and perchance the other one is also going there, or like or whatever. There's a way of like maneuvering yourself into that position. But it's not actually you doing it because there's a third force. There's Tom and there's Mary. And their energies combine to form another unit, Tom Mary. And that is the energy. And that energy is that's your relationship energy. And that relationship energy feeds on energy. And in the beginning, it's great. Because you got all of the hormones are going, the lust is going, everything is going. It's like a lot of energy. You connect and you're talking all day and night. You're not connecting so that you can go for hours sharing your love. You don't need to sleep, and it's roses and everything. So that vibration is like just serious energy happening. But 3 months later, it's like, okay, well, like you can't maintain that level of energy. You can't be a honeymoon period all the time. So somewhere down the line, it's going to start slowing down. But what's happening to your vampire? It's not getting fed anymore. Because it's feeding on that energy. Tom Mary is feeding on that relationship energy. Now, as that dies down and life becomes normal, it goes for a while because now you're going to work, I'm going to work, and it's like, all right, I'll still cook and you clean or whatever, or you clean and I'll cook or whatever way you're around, you do, you like, because now you're also in the 2.5 cups, so now the one has to complete the other. So now the measurement starts. It's like a year in, it's like, well, I'm waking the kids up, I'm taking them to school, giving them breakfast. Like, what do? You're still lying in bed. I'm taking out the garbage, it's like, I do everything around you. And I'm sick, fat. Right, there we go. So now it's like, okay, what do you do? But you don't do this. And it's subtle in the beginning, and then it starts getting like more and more hectic. And when you feel that you're not met and your glass is not getting filled, because if you have 2 glasses and you fill this glass is empty. Then this one has to go full this one, and it's nice and in the middle again, but it's still half. So this one has to fill this one, and then that one's empty. So then this whole thing is happening all the time, and nobody's happy. So that's why most marriages fail, most relationships fail. One of the reasons. The other reason is certain people are in your life for a second, others people for a day, others for a month, others for 10 years, some for a lifetime. It doesn't mean their worth is more or less. The cashier that gave you a smile when you were about to commit suicide and you felt like shit is as valuable or more valuable than the love of your life that you got married to and kicked your ass out of the house, whatever. Because why? Because number one, Tom Mary wants to get fed, and if it can't get fed on good energy, then it gets fed on bad energy. And how do you get bad energy? You cause fights or unhappiness. Or like the real nice one is when you withdraw. Because when you're still fighting, you're still involved. You're still in relation with somebody. When you withdraw, that's over. The relationship's over. But there's kids, there's other things, there's houses, there's ways of so we stay in there. And the more we deny ourselves, the more we remove ourselves from self. Until at the end of the marriage or the relationship, you feel great for a moment and then realize that there's nothing left. And then you blame the other person. Nobody can take our power. We can only give it away.
The best 15 years of my life.
Answer. And then the regrets, and then the loops, and all the other stuff is like there, and it plays in the head, and that takes more power because we haven't actually let that go yet. Tom Mary is still there, and unless we let that go, it will always stop feeding or keep feeding. So when you're thinking about the ex, who's getting fed? Not her, and not you. But Tom Mary is definitely getting fed. Okay? And it's going to keep on feeding. And as soon as you go, okay, I'm over it. That's it now. Okay, I'm going to carry on with my life. It's like, Dad, I'm still hungry. Think about that time. Do you know what happened that time when like you thought it was there and then like something it was like, there we go, back sucked into. So Tom Mary has to actually be let go of. And that comes from taking your own power back. Because blaming somebody is giving your power away. Stressing about the hurt is giving your power away. The being cross and upset gives your power away.
Feeling sorry for the other person and
gives your power away. Even thinking about them, worrying about them, concerning about, like, either hating on them and wanting them to see your point. Why? Nobody sees anybody's point. I can forget about it. Nobody understands anybody. It's impossible. You got too many filters for me to go through your filters so I can understand you 100%. So nobody's going to get you. Live with it. Get yourself. We don't even get ourselves because we've got so many other filters on. Take your power back, because then we go from public self to private self to secret self. And underneath secret self is the authentic self. The authentic self is the one that is unbroken, that can never be hurt, that choose to experience all kinds of events to know what they like or what they don't.
Pure source.
Pure source. Freedom of choice. In a world of polarity, positive and negative, male and female, feminine, masculine. In joy, love, romantic love, and pain and hurt.